Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Wednesday, where we have live team coverage coming up from yesterday's explosion in Sun Prairie in just a minute. But first, not a bad day today.
Let's get a check on the weather. Dave Caulfield is in the Weather Center. Another warm, sunny day, Dave, and maybe a little rain on the way.
We will get to Dave.
Is Dave there?
Dave's in the backyard patio. We're waiting for him. There he is. Hi, Dave.
How's it going? Yeah,
Good.
it is. It's not too bad out here. The humidity is starting to creep in a little bit as we head into later today. Visible cloud track showing those clouds. That is a low pressure system just to our north. It will bring some showers and thunderstorms to portions of Wisconsin as we head into tomorrow. But as far as the rest of this goes, we are looking at things getting a little bit rainier over the next couple of days. So what we're going to be seeing is a little bit of a pattern shift over the next couple of days. Doppler track is showing really not a lot of shower activity across Wisconsin, although closer to Minnesota, we are seeing a little bit more in the way of rain showers. But for us across southern Wisconsin, we're looking pretty good right now. Plenty of sunshine, not too many clouds showing up in downtown Madison on the Edgewater Skycam. Current conditions right now, we are at 85 degrees, an east wind at 5 miles per hour. Humidity at 41%, that dew point right around 60 degrees, so not too bad in the dew point department right now. Temperatures in some other spots, 82 in Juneau, 87 in the Dells, 86 in Mineral Point, and 88 in Janesville. Now, if we look at dew points, we're looking at a little bit more humidity across southwestern Wisconsin, although that's to be expected because we do have a little bit more rural land with some farms out there. So 64 in Mineral Point, 58, not too bad in Monroe, 59 in Madison. Heat index values, we're looking at temperatures feeling like the mid 80s and in some spots a little bit closer to 90, like in Boscobel and La Crosse. It feels like 94 at the present time. A live look in Madison on the WISC-TV Skycam, looking at very nice conditions, a little bit on the warm side in spots. Temperatures will fall through the 80s into the low 70s with partly cloudy skies and pretty mild conditions overnight. So let's take a look at your first alert traffic update. Todd Drive and the Beltline, we are noticing that slow go in both directions. Obviously, with everything that has gone on in Sun Prairie over the past 24 hours or so, there are multiple road closures there, including Main Street in between Wisconsin 19 and Bird Street. Let's zoom in to see a little bit more of the traffic picture. No major accidents or incidents to report. However, we are noticing those normal slowdowns start to pop up on the Beltline. We can see not too bad closer to Schrader Road, Odana Road as well, but a little bit closer to Fish Hatchery and Rimrock Road, John Nolan Drive. Starting to see those yellows and reds pop up. Park Street a little bit on the slow side in some spots. Then not looking too bad as we head into Stoughton Road and the interstate, although things are starting to pile up just a little bit more. So your drive times right now not looking too bad. Actually, University Ave to Verona Road, 7 minutes with an average speed of around 60 miles per hour. Verona Road to John Nolan, that's 6 minutes, average speed right around 50 miles per hour. So that's actually looking pretty good right now. Some other routes, Beltline to Janesville, that's 28 minutes, an average speed of around 65 miles per hour. On Highway 12, westbound Middleton to Sauk City, 17 minutes, not looking too bad. Average speed of around 60 miles per hour. And northbound downtown to Sun Prairie, that's 15 minutes, average speed right around 40 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic. We'll talk about those rain chances returning in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Dave.
Firefighters remain on the scene of a deadly gas explosion in downtown Sun Prairie.
The explosion happened nearly 24 hours ago at the intersection of Main and Bristol Streets. People from all over southern Wisconsin are remembering the firefighter killed during that explosion. 14 others, including another firefighter, police officers, and other people nearby were also hurt. The other firefighter injured is in stable condition this afternoon. News 3 has been covering the explosion since moments after it happened.
And we have live team coverage in Sun Prairie this afternoon, working to learn more about what caused this explosion and how people are remembering the fallen firefighter. Our Eric Franke is live in Sun Prairie. Eric?
Well, Mark and Susan, it is surreal. It's very quiet down here. You can still smell a little bit of a burn in the air as firefighters continue to sift through what is happening just a few hundred yards down the street at Bristol and Main behind us, where that explosion happened just after 7 o'clock last night. Now, within the last hour or so, a spokeswoman for the governor told us that the governor will be here. He'll review some of the damage here from the Sun Prairie explosion, but the time and place of his review of what happened here is to be determined. Now, we do know that some residents living within this half-mile or so evacuation zone are being allowed back into their homes right now. The Red Cross tweeted out earlier this afternoon that volunteers are still helping around 20 displaced residents. Around 200 of the original 500 who had gas shut off are still without gas. Their first calls came into 911 around 6:20 last night, as we mentioned, about that gas leak at Bristol and Main. A spokeswoman for We Energies says a contractor punctured a gas line, causing a leak that led to the explosion just after 7. Now, we're still working on figuring out who that contractor was and if, in fact, that contractor had a permit to dig in that area. The explosion leveled the bar house, caused serious damage to some other nearby buildings like the Glass Nickel Pizza in Sun Prairie. Now, we're told that firefighters did that secondary search of those buildings, even though officials said there were no reports of any missing people. The firefighter killed in the explosion has been identified as the captain of the Sun Prairie Volunteer Fire Department, Corey Barr. He's also one of the co-owners of the bar house, a building leveled in that explosion.
I can tell you by just what I know about the area and the explosion itself and the amount of fire that was involved. And, thank God that our firefighters and those who responded and our police officers were able to get a majority of those people evacuated before this, the explosion. It could have been a lot worse.
Incredible work by those first responders at the scene here. And, of course, a lot of people mourning the loss of Corey Barr, the volunteer firefighter, since he was just 19 years old. He leaves behind twin daughters as well as his wife, Abby. And News 3's Keely Arthur sat down with Abby Barr today as she remembers the man she says was the love of her life. Keely?
A great father, great person, great husband, and great firefighter. That's how Abby Barr described her husband, Corey Barr, to me today, who gave his life running into that danger last night to get everyone else to safety. Corey Barr was 34 years old. He married Abigail Barr about a decade ago. She and Barr owned the Barr house, which was leveled in last night's explosion. Now, Barr is a volunteer firefighter with the Sun Prairie Fire Department. As crews worked to evacuate everyone in the area of Bristol and Main, Barr went to check out the gas leak near his beloved restaurant. That's when the explosion happened. He was airlifted to UW Hospital, but he did not make it. In addition to Abigail, he leaves behind those two twin daughters.
I'm luckiest girl in the world to have met someone like him and have him be a part of my life and being an excellent father to my girls. And I don't know what we're going to do without him.
Barr is surrounded by family and friends today, not to mention the Sun Prairie Fire Department, many of whom kind of acted like family to Corey and the Barr family throughout their time here in Sun Prairie. Now, anyone else in the community, anyone watching who wants to help the Barr family, the deserving Barr family, they can go to a GoFundMe page. We have that link up on our website, channel3000.com. You can donate. I just checked that GoFundMe page. It was scheduled to have about $15,000 around this time. It's up to $40,000. So many people in this community and beyond helping that family. I'll send it back to you, Eric.
All right, Keely, yeah, tremendous amount of support for the Barr family. Our thoughts go out to Abby and, of course, the twin daughters and all of those who were close to Corey Barr at this very difficult time. People are using social media as a tremendous vehicle to honor and support the Barr family. Many of those served with him on the fire department, and fire departments across southern Wisconsin are changing their Facebook profile pictures to this image or one similar, and others around the community are sharing memories as well. And our team coverage continues this afternoon. News 3's Jamie Perez joining us. She's been talking with people who were really impacted, evacuated from their homes last night. Jamie?
That's right, Eric. Thanks so much. And speaking of those evacuations, I did just want to get some quick information out regarding all of this. These are still the inaccessible areas regarding evacuations. South Street, West Lane Street, East Lane Street, South Bristol Street, North Bristol Street from Cliff Street South, Angel Street, Columbus Street from Main to Church, Church Street, and Vine Streets. And they did also want me to tell you that residents who need access to grab medications or pets in their homes need to meet police and fire departments at the intersection of Church and Angel Streets, and that's by City Hall. We Energies also is putting a red flag with the white X on doors. Residents need to call We Energies to get the okay to enter. Now, moving on, homes all along this block, this street, residents are being slowly but surely allowed into these areas, but there still is one resident that I spoke with who will never be able to return home. I spoke with this woman today who was going through a really tough time after her house was destroyed in that explosion last night. She lives right above the restaurants that exploded. Thankfully, she's okay, but she is having a tough time, as you can imagine. She is extremely shaken up. She lost everything in her home, from the material items to the memories.
It's been a weird night, like a nightmare. I lost a friend, a boss in the explosion. I feel bad for his family, his wife, their toddlers.
Out alive, but this is the first time that she's ever experienced anything like this. I mean, just imagine how it feels. Imagine if this was your home. You lost everything, including one of her really good friends. We'll have more on Angie's story coming up tonight at 5.
All right, Jamie, thank you very much. You know, we also saw last night a lot of senior citizens who were impacted just a short distance from where the explosion happened, an assisted living center where we saw professionals, first responders rather, responding to this nursing home in the downtown Sun Prairie area, evacuating residents there after last night's explosion. Many of them had medical concerns, of course, as you can imagine, that require a lot of attention. Luckily, those folks were able to get out and get to safety quickly, thanks to those first responders doing their jobs. One resident we spoke with says he is thankful for the help he received.
I wasn't worried because of the help that we were treated excellently.
And as we mentioned, it took less than an hour and a half, and you can imagine all the work that had to go into getting these people to safe situations, and also making sure that they had the medicine they required to make sure that they are healthy and safe in those locations where they may have been left overnight. They didn't know at that time how long they were going to be evacuated. They got many of those people in quickly last night back to a safe spot. Now, the governor, as we mentioned, we heard from a spokesperson, he is supposed to be here to survey the damage here at a time to be determined. But we do want to mention that he did send out a tweet earlier today, sending his thoughts to the people of Sun Prairie, thanking the first responders for their work, and also sending his thoughts and condolences out to Corey Barr's family, the firefighter who lost his life protecting the lives of others last night. We also have calls. We've taken a lot of calls, in fact, from people who simply want to help out those who have been displaced by the explosion. And a lot of calls are also coming into the Red Cross for that. If you'd like to help those who have been displaced, the Red Cross says you can sign up to volunteer in the community or donate to the Red Cross or to the Salvation Army. And we have that information you can find on our website, channel3000.com. And of course, Susan and Mark will have much more coverage coming from Sun Prairie later on in this newscast.
All right, Eric Franke and all of our hardworking crews in Sun Prairie, thank you.
Thank you, Eric. As always, stay with News 3 for the very latest on this story. We will be updating it 24 hours a day on channel3000.com.
And when we come back, rain chances return. Dave will have your forecast coming up.
And we'll have the other news of the day as President Trump makes his demands known at the NATO summit. We'll have reaction after his criticism of some U.S. allies. That's when Live at 4 continues.
Well, President Trump is not mincing words at the NATO summit in Belgium.
Just hours before a bilateral meeting with German Chancellor Angela Merkel, President Trump accused Germany of being controlled by Russia. The president opposes a pipeline deal that would bring natural gas from Russia to Germany.
They pay billions of dollars to Russia, and now we have to defend them against Russia.
The president later tweeted the U.S. is paying for Europe's protection, then loses billions on trade, must pay 2% of GDP immediately, not by 2025. President Trump says the U.S. spent 4.2% of its GDP on defense spending. The president wants NATO members to double their spending.
The first video of the rescued boys from Thailand recovering in the hospital has been released. The boys, all wearing masks, appear to be in good spirits, but doctors say two of them do have lung infections. Several boys waved at the camera as relatives watched from outside a glass wall. Thai Navy SEALs also released video from the dramatic rescue. The boys and coach were rescued just in time. Hours after the last boy was pulled out, the main water pump in the caves malfunctioned, sending water rushing back in. Police in Mexico are investigating the murder of an American tourist hit by a stray bullet in Mexico City. 27-year-old Tatiana Mirotenko of San Francisco was in Mexico City with her husband to celebrate their first wedding anniversary. Tatiana was shot at a restaurant in an upscale neighborhood. Police say the gunmen were aiming for the bouncer inside the restaurant. According to the latest figures, 2017 was Mexico's deadliest year on record, with more than 25,000 murders. Earlier this year, the U.S. State Department issued a travel ban to 5 Mexican states.
Police in Georgia are investigating allegations that Buffalo Bills star LaShawn McCoy was behind a violent attack on his former girlfriend. Delacia Corden says she was attacked while sleeping at McCoy's house by a male attacker who hit her in the face with a firearm. Hours later, photos of Corden's bloody face appeared online. In a statement, her lawyer said the assailant demanded specific items of jewelry that McCoy had given her and hit Ms. Corden in the face with a firearm multiple times.
There's a very clear implication that Mr. McCoy is either involved in this attack or, at the very least, didn't seem to show a whole lot of interest in Ms. Corden's health after the attack.
Court filings show McCoy has tried to kick Corden out of his house twice in the last year, saying that she has been living rent-free for the last 5 months, even though they were no longer in a relationship. McCoy has called the allegations totally baseless and offensive.
Heightened trade concerns snapped a 4-day winning streak on Wall Street. The Dow Industrials dropped 219 points, ending the day at 24,700. The Nasdaq Composite Index fell 24, and the S&P 500 was off 19.
Something new is coming to Facebook. There will soon be ways to try on glasses, makeup, and other products without ever going to the store.
Meg Oliver shows us how the interactive ads work.
Facebook is trying to make the advertisements on your newsfeed more social. The social networking site is introducing ads that allow users to try on everything from a pair of shades to a shade of makeup right on their smartphones.
The technology that allows these Facebook ads to work is called augmented reality.
Users who click on this Michael Kors ad can use the phone's camera to superimpose sunglasses on their face and see what different colors would look like. The same can be done with virtual lipstick on this Sephora ad, and all of it can be shared on your Facebook page. CNET Scott Stein says that makes it even more attractive to advertisers.
You also could be taking photos and sharing that, which means you're transmitting the ad yourself.
Augmented reality has been used in video games and products that blend the real and digital worlds. Now retailers are capitalizing on the technology.
So you're actually in the floor plan now.
From visualizing the inside of an RV to this Lowe's app that lets you see what a grill would look like in your backyard.
You're going to see a lot more of it because the biggest players in the game, not just Facebook, but also Google and Apple, are investing a lot of money and a lot of time to put augmented reality across the entire phone ecosystem.
Michael Kors was the first to test these ads. Facebook says Sephora and other companies selling everything from fashion to furniture will roll out their own interactive ads in the coming months. Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
It's a brave new world, isn't it?
It certainly is. The grill will look good right there.
Yeah. There's more to come tonight at 4. Just because it's summer doesn't mean learning has to stop.
Martial arts may be her main topic, but this month's top-notch teacher also mixes in life lessons. Charlotte Deleste has her story coming up after Dave's first alert forecast.
Take a look at this. Lugging bags through the airport, of course, is a regular part of the travel experience, but KLM Royal Dutch Airlines is working on a solution for that. The air carrier is testing out an airport robot. It can carry 85 pounds of luggage. The robot is named Care-E. It will take the shape of a safe driving trolley, and users won't need to talk to the robot to operate it. Instead, it uses a variety of nonverbal sounds. Oh yeah, what could go wrong? To interact with travelers. Even better, the robot can use AI technology to access real-time data like gate changes. Again,
really?
No problem.
Wait, no problem.
The airline wants to put Care-E to work at New York's JFK and San Francisco international airports sometime this year.
So you just put your boarding pass on the little reader and then carry
it is pretty cool.
I mean, I guess that's one way to know if your gate changes, if your luggage just suddenly changes direction.
Where's my bag going? It is Wednesday, July 11th, or in other words, 7-Eleven, as in the convenience store change. And fans of 7-Eleven Slurpees are in luck today. These stores giving away free Slurpees to celebrate its 91st birthday today. They do this every year on this date, 7-Eleven. The giveaway concludes at 7 o'clock this evening, and the retailer expects to give away up to 9 million free drinks today. No purchase required.
Boy, it's a perfect day for that today, too.
It's also National Swimming Pool Day. It's also the place to be on a day like today.
And it is All-American Pet Photo Day. Share your favorite pet photos, and so did we. Here's my cat.
What's his name?
Well, we just call her Kit. That's her name.
And there's Lola and Louie,
the most famous dogs this side of the Mississippi.
Getting along for a change. This is our producer's dog.
Duncan. Oh, I didn't expect to see Duncan. Hi, Duncan. And that's my mischievous cat, Hans.
Oh, your cat's beautiful, Dave.
Yeah. It was a photo shoot that day.
Is it a Maine Coon cat or?
I don't know. You caught me off guard here. It's he's the best, but he's also the worst at times.
As they all can be.
Yes, exactly.
So share your pet photos today.
Yeah. So we might get some rain on the way, and we could use some.
Yeah, it's been a week without rain across southern Wisconsin. Maybe some rain chances on the way for this weekend. We'll have details on that, plus talk about some cooler weather on the way in your first look forecast in just a few minutes. Good afternoon. I hope everyone is having a great Wednesday so far. Lots of sunshine on this Wednesday, but some more rain chances are on the way. So pattern change on the way just in time for this weekend. We have warm weather and high pressure pretty much controlling our weather across much of the Midwest, but just to our west, shall we say, hot and humid conditions right in the middle of this low pressure system. And the warm weather going to last a little while longer before maybe some cooler temperatures on the way for next week. We actually do have heat bulletins for tonight into tomorrow for much of Minnesota, into Iowa, even into the La Crosse and Eau Claire areas. But most of southern Wisconsin, no heat bulletins to talk about, although it could feel like the 90s as we head into the next couple of days. Doppler track showing not too much happening in rain world, but a little bit of thunderstorm activity way into northern Minnesota. That's associated with that low pressure system on the way. Could bring us some rain as we head into tomorrow, and especially tomorrow night. That's when I think our rain chances start to come up across southern Wisconsin. And we could really use it, folks. We're more than an inch behind schedule in Madison, about 1.5 inches in Dubuque, Iowa, Green Bay at about a half an inch, and Rhinelander over an inch as well. Our July precipitation, we only had measurable rain on the 1st of July, and then on the 4th we did have a trace, but that means it's been a week without rain for the first time in quite some time for southern Wisconsin. A little bit of Carly Simon, haven't got time for the rain instead of the pain there. So a week stretch with no rain. That's the longest dry stretch since May 23rd to 29th. The longest dry stretch of the year actually happened in mid-March from the 14th to the 25th. And snow didn't break that stretch. Actually, a little bit of rain did, but we're not talking about snow. Not for a very long time, hopefully. Time lapse in Madison. We saw a nice sunrise, plenty of sunshine, just some high cirrus clouds. Not really much more than that. And pretty similar story as we take a live look at the WISC-TV Skycam. The almanac for today, high of 85 degrees, normal 82, so just a little bit above where we should be. Some other temperatures, 83 in Watertown, 88 in Janesville, 89 in Boscobel, and still in the 80s in Platteville. Dew points in the upper 50s and low 60s, starting to feel a little bit of that humidity, but still tolerable across much of the area. Hopefully my pronunciation of tolerable was tolerable. Heat index, we are looking at mid-80s and low 90s in some spots like Boscobel and into La Crosse. High temperature trend showing the 80s sticking around. We may have some dips here and there, but I do think as we head into next week, we'll be right around 80 degrees, so a little bit cooler than normal for this time of year. Future track showing high pressure slowly but surely moving out. Warm and humid weather coming back in. This cold front comes just a little bit closer to us and could bring us some shower chances on Thursday and Friday. For tonight, temperatures in the 60s, so pretty mild overnight. And for tomorrow, very warm and humid. We could have some thunderstorms in the afternoon, especially in spots north of Madison. Highs should make it into the upper 80s. It will feel like the low 90s at times, though, with that humidity starting to come back. So let's take a little bit of a closer look to home as to when these rain chances are going to start to spark up. I think tonight pretty quiet, mild overall. Then the rain chances really start to spark up as we head later into Thursday and Friday. We could also have some rain chances as well. So let's take a quick look at your 7-day forecast where we can see those temperatures hovering in the 80s with that humidity sticking around. So we do have storm chances in the forecast for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, although that rain starts to move out on Monday. Then nice weather Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with temperatures in the low 80s. Maybe some more humidity coming back for next weekend with some thunderstorms as well. But we do have some nice weather on the way, but we could use that rain, and we'll have plenty of chances as we head into this weekend.
You're so rain.
I probably think that parody of that song is about me.
Indeed.
You're absolutely right.
Let's move along. Thank you, Dave. Punching, kicking, throwing is Dave in the weather office. No, they're moves you learn in the martial arts.
But those are secondary to the real lessons you learn once you walk into the dojo. Charlotte Deleste introduces us to this month's top-notch teacher.
On a front stance, your front knee is bent, ma'am. Your back
It's
leg
easy to see that on the outside, Sasha Viviano is tough.
We have to control where our toes point.
She's been practicing martial arts since she was 6.
I definitely grew up in it, and it's something I've always enjoyed.
That hard work and time has paid off. She's now a 5th-degree black belt.
The normal response is, oh, she could probably kick my butt, which probably, but that's not what martial arts is for.
The lessons she's taken away from this go far beyond physical toughness.
You believe in yourself. Excellent. It teaches them discipline and respect and control.
She wants other people to learn what karate can do for their inner strength.
I learned so much as a young person in martial arts. Now it's my turn to share with everybody else my passion for this sport.
As an instructor at Infinity Martial Arts in Middleton, she instills that in her students every day.
We say respect starts here, goes there, comes back double.
Of course, she places a lot of physical demands on her students. But in this dojo, the biggest challenge is maintaining mental toughness.
Being able to adapt and to change with those challenges and to keep growing in life as you're going is really important.
And if you're able to do that, then chances are you'll earn a black belt in life.
That's great.
Yeah, it really
You learn
is.
so much.
Congratulations to
Yes.
her.
Coming up tonight on Live at 4, we hear a lot about the dangers of high blood pressure, but new research says it could be worse for African Americans.
Coming up next, we take a look at the ways doctors are making sure everyone stays healthy and aware of the signs of high blood pressure. Live look at downtown Madison on this sunny and warm Wednesday afternoon. High blood pressure, often called the silent killer because it usually has no symptoms.
Now new research shows that most African Americans will develop high blood pressure in middle age. Nikki Batiste has more from Newark, New Jersey.
5 years ago, Tracy Johnson was at work when she suddenly felt extremely warm.
The nurse on the site checked my blood pressure, and it was 220 over 120, and they sent me straight to the ER.
Johnson, 46 at the time, learned she had high blood pressure, which runs in her family. New research in the Journal of the American Heart Association shows 75% of African American men and women are likely to develop high blood pressure by age 55, compared to 55% of white men and 40% of white women.
Blood pressure is very complex. Part of it relates to the genetic makeup. A part of it relates to diet, lifestyle.
Researchers also found following a diet designed to stop hypertension lowered a person's risk. Cardiologist Gautam Visvesaran at Newark Beth Israel Medical Center says high blood pressure is preventable.
Incorporate a healthy diet, which is low salt, high in fruits and vegetables. Get to an exercise program and go to your healthcare provider.
What have you changed in your diet?
I don't eat fried foods anymore. I don't eat ice cream. I don't eat cheese.
High blood pressure is a risk factor for heart disease. 3 months ago, Tracy needed surgery for 2 blockages in her heart.
When you're young, you think you're invincible. So I wasn't worried about that then, but I am now.
She's now more diligent about taking her medications, has lost some weight, and is exercising to stay healthy. Nikki Batiste, CBS News, Newark, New Jersey.
And weight is the key. In the study, having a higher body weight was linked to an increased risk for high blood pressure, regardless of race or gender.
Get it checked. Still to come, it's a bird, it's a plane, no, it's a slingshot.
We go behind the wheel, 3 of them actually, with Harvey Briggs in this very unique vehicle. You two are having way too much fun.
It's summer.
Again, that's when Live at 4 continues.
Good afternoon. Here is your first alert traffic update, taking a live look at the Beltline and Todd Drive. Some slow go in both directions this afternoon. On the Beltline, we are seeing those slowdowns in both directions, especially closer to John Nolan Drive and Park Street, where you might expect. On the eastbound side, speeds of about 15 to 30 miles per hour in that stretch. Your drive times Verona Road to John Nolan, that's 13 minutes. Average speed of around 19 miles per hour eastbound. Then in the other direction, looking a little bit better, but still John Nolan to Verona Road in that same stretch, 9 minutes with an average speed of around 30 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic update.
All right, thank you, Dave. When our auto expert Harvey Briggs shows up for a Behind the Wheel segment, we're never quite sure what we're in for.
Especially when Harvey asks what size helmet I wear. In the wise words of Monty Python, and now for something completely different.
Polaris. Snowmobiles,
That's right.
motorcycles.
And now this.
What is it?
It's a slingshot. Technically, it's called an autocycle, which is half car, half motorcycle. Kind of straddles that thing between a car and a motorcycle.
Sort of a half car, half motorcycle.
Exactly.
Maybe like a mullet. Business in the front.
Party in the back.
So there you have it. The mullet of motoring. The half-breed of the highway. The rogue of the road.
No, we've got a steering wheel, we've got pedals, we've got a shift, stick shift.
That's about it.
That's about it, you know. And
no heat.
No heat, no air conditioning, no airbags.
No doors.
No doors, no problem.
Our SL Slingshot tester comes in at a little over $25,000 with bigger tires, nav, and what passes as a windshield. A base Slingshot starts around 19, and you can get into the low 30s with enough options.
It's 100% waterproof, everything. The electronics, the seats, everything are designed to get wet.
Including the driver and passenger.
You're not going to use this as a commuter vehicle. You know, you're not going to use it to run to the grocery store. This is your, third, fourth, whatever vehicle in the garage that you take out on the weekends to go have some fun.
The Slingshot is completely roadworthy, but keep in mind the roadworthiness varies from state to state. Some states allow you to drive it with a regular driver's license.
So in Wisconsin, you have to have a motorcycle license, but you don't have to wear a helmet. We're doing it because I think the people from Polaris know how I drive.
And we deeply thank Polaris for that. No offense, Harvey. Under the hood, a real motor, a four-banger from General Motors.
It's one of those things where it's so light, has just enough power, you can just smile and have a ton of fun with it. It's somebody who likes to be out in the open air. It could be someone who rides a motorcycle and this is just another toy for them. It could be somebody who has four-wheelers and wants a similar experience on the road.
And it's for someone who doesn't mind drawing attention to themselves.
I first drove this vehicle out in LA and we were driving down Pacific Coast Highway where there are Ferraris and Bentleys, and we parked in the parking lot and people came running over to get their picture taken next to this thing.
You know, we're driving by and everybody's looking at us.
Yeah, if you are in the witness protection program, do not buy this vehicle.
They're gonna find you.
Exactly.
That looks like fun.
No, it was fun.
Yeah, and that's the whole point of that thing. It's fun. That's the only reason to buy it.
How expensive is it?
It starts at about $19,000, and the one we had was about $25,000.
But you're not going to go on a long haul with this thing.
No, you might take a weekend, trip to the Dells and back in it or something like that. But no, you're not doing any cross-country, state-to-state, interstate travel on
Can't
this
you see me pulling into West Town Mall in that thing? Yeah.
Yeah, get the helmet here, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. And you need a motorcycle license.
You do in Wisconsin need a
Interesting.
motorcycle license to drive that thing.
But the third or fourth vehicle in the garage.
Well, it's the same thing as a quad or, a dirt bike for someone. It's all that. It's a toy that you go out and you just have fun driving.
Did bugs hit you in the face like on a motorcycle? No?
They could.
They could.
It was fun, though.
It was.
All right. We'll see you in a couple weeks, Harvey.
Yep, we'll be back.
And we will be back right after this. What is headed our way?
Well, we have a couple more rain chances on the way for the next couple days and into the weekend. Temperatures into the upper 80s. It will feel like the mid-90s at times tomorrow, with a couple of thunderstorms possible, especially north of Madison.
We could use the rain.
Yes.
All right, Dave. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
We are still looking into who is responsible for a deadly explosion last night in downtown Sun Prairie.
Our Eric Franke is still on the scene and joins us now with the latest. Hi, Eric.
Hi, Susan. Hi, Mark. You know, we're expecting to learn a little bit more about this explosion that hit Sun Prairie last night in about an hour or so. The governor, he's going to be here. He's going to survey the damage, and then he will have a press conference along with members of the Sun Prairie Police Department, the fire department, as well as the head of EMS as well. They're going to talk about what they know so far, hopefully have some information for residents here as they continue to try to fill back into their homes here that has been evacuated. We're just a couple hundred yards from the scene there at Bristol and Maine where that explosion happened last night. And following what's happened, the community has really been unbelievable, coming together to support each other. People who had been displaced from their homes, many of them are positioned right now at Sun Prairie High School, and members of the community came together in various ways, bringing, whether it was water or food items or medicine, toiletries, even support animals. And a nearby restaurant even brought in a hot lunch for people and volunteers who were working there to help people at Sun Prairie High School. Red Cross officials, who obviously see a ton of disasters like this, they say the support they've seen from this community has been absolutely incredible. And by the way, we're getting a before and after look here at the damage. If you're not familiar, don't spend a lot of time in downtown Sun Prairie, which is a very vibrant suburban downtown area and a growing community. We're getting a before and after look. These pictures taken from the same location, one from Google Maps, the other from a viewer on scene last night. And you can see the absolute devastation here as the entire building there is gone. Again, we'll hear from the governor, hear from local first responders in about an hour or so, and we'll have more coverage coming up in a few minutes on News 3 at 5. Susan, Mark.
All right, Eric Franke live in Sun Prairie. We will see you in a few minutes, and we'll see you right after the break.